Oh, that's my cue. It's been a while. I got to make sure I remember what all these buttons do and everything. But look at that. We're back. We got another show coming up. But before we get into it, let's get into this. All right. Welcome to Paul's Collectibles. We're doing the Ahsoka breakdown show. It's been about a year since I've had these going on. And I thought since I'm going to come back and I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it upright, get some of the coolest people that I can imagine. Now, neither of them was available, so I've got Scoop. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Now we're getting
right. Yeah, it's all like Donkey Kong. Anyway, welcome to the Ahsoka breakdown show. I got Scuba Pete. I got Kat. But before we go any further, I want to say welcome, Kat. It's good to have you, ma'am. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited for this.
Absolutely. I'm excited, too, as long as I don't mess anything up on here, Pete. So, Pete, it's good to see you as always. You're ubiquitous on the internet and on live streams. So I really sincerely want to thank you for taking time to do this once a week for like the next 8 weeks with me.
Hell yeah, dude. It took me all of like 10 seconds to reply back to you. Like, hell yeah.
I know. I was surprised. Oh, Kat's camera's drunk.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, we'll do this then.
Somewhere.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Pete, we're going to start with you. I don't think there's anybody watching this live stream who doesn't know who you are, where to find you. But just in case, tell us a little bit about yourself and where we can find you on social media, my brother.
Cool. So you can find me, Scuba Pete, on Instagram or Twitter. And I am a part of Chasing 80s Toys with Chris Miwa and Jeff Barker. And
yep, it's a Paul's Collectibles production for sure.
Aren't you guys glad you asked me to join?
Oh, she busted out the tape. It's on, Pete. Watch out. Kat, I'm going to challenge you here then, ma'am.
Yeah.
Can you do two things at once? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your collecting habits, and where to find you while you're taping your camera down, ma'am?
Yes, I can.
Okay, go.
So, you see, I'm mostly a 3 3/4 inch collector. Oh, wow. My dad hates me. So I'm on Twitter as VadersGirl28. I'm on Instagram as cat_XO66 for Execute Order 66.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, I collect Star Wars, Halo, Tomb Raider, Last Airbender, Godzilla.
Nice.
oh, yeah.
Wow. I just collect helmets and figures. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're awesome. Helmets are
Yeah.
amazing.
Buckets.
Yeah, I like buckets. Yeah, you guys. I look at your background. I look at Pete's background, and I'm like, don't look. I don't have as much cool stuff as you guys. So.
Yeah, dude, helmets are amazing.
Yeah, you do.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have the cheap, like $20 helmets.
Oh. Okay.
So those are like, I'm like, oh, these are so cool. And then I look at yours and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, well, things get tense in the marriage around here every now and then over the helmets. You know what I'm saying? So you're probably smarter than me. So
I'm single, so I don't have to worry about that.
Paul has a pretty fair system. Helmet, firearm. Helmet.
yes,
Firearm.
I have 4 cases of helmets. She has 2 gun safes full of guns. Pete, we get along great. It works out well. Yeah. So, yep.
There you go.
Oh man. Well, it's once again, it's good to have you both. I really appreciate it. I think we're going to have a blast. I'm looking hopefully forward to some good things from Ahsoka, but really, holy goodness, Pete, there are 53 something comments that I haven't seen already in the chat.
Thanks, guys.
You
the
guys
chat's
are
rocking.
It is rocking. So really quick, let me say hi to some people and then we'll kind of get right into it. Are you guys cool with that?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. We got chat legend Shabby. Always good to see you.
Oh, yeah.
There's your alma mater, Pete.
Mr. Miwa.
Hey, we know her. All right. We got Petey Mac.
Hey, Pete.
We got Gilster. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's just, there we go. Got G-Forces in the house. We can officially start. Yep. Let me just go on down here. Oh, my goodness. You guys are flattered. Rolando. Yeah. Let me keep going. Hey, Michael Reed.
Hey, Michael. G'day.
Hi, Michael.
There's Connor. Connor, good to see you. You are still a mod, my friend. I never took you off, so if you see some stuff that's inappropriate, hiya! Okay. Let's see here. Let me go on down. I don't want to miss anybody. There's TJC.
Hey, Terry.
Blue X.
Blue?
Wow. It's a little bit of old folks home in here too. Some people from like a year ago on our streams too, guys. There's
cool.
Gerard.
Hey, Gerard.
Hi, Gerard.
And Miriam.
There we go.
Yep.
And Matt. Matt's collection. Yeah, he's like that. If you watch his videos, it's hard for me to get all the way through them because he's so calm and collected. He's like, and then we're just kind of fiddly with this little figure. And I'm like, oh, I missed half of it. I got to go back. He's so calm.
Very soothing.
Yes, it's very soothing. Talking about ASMR.
Colorado with me. He actually lived not too far from me. I found out when he was moving.
Of course, right? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Okay. Kenneth Bird. Hi to everyone. Jonathan Redmond.
Mr. Redmond.
Good. Oh, hey. You're the salt of the earth, Connor. I appreciate it.
Oh, rock on, Connor. Thanks.
Yeah. Kat's breaking out the engineering tools. Yes. What's the saying where I come from? If it squeaks and or if it moves and it's not supposed to, duct tape. If it doesn't move and it's supposed to, WD-40. That's what I know.
Yep.
Miriam, always good to see you. Wow. This is crazy. I'll try not to do accents. I'll get in trouble if I do accents, especially. Yeah, here we go. There's good to see another Christian or Josh, depending on how drunk I am when we're doing the stream. So sorry, but still, I'll never live that down. Oh my goodness. There's Crazy 8. Whoa,
hey,
what's
Crazy.
going on, man?
Hi, Crazy.
Great to see you.
Yeah, it just goes and goes and goes. I don't want to miss anybody, but I also don't want. I think I hit everybody. If I missed you, it was not intentional, just so you know. But we're going to kind of get into this. Otherwise, I'll be here for hours. And I know Pete's an important man. He's probably got 3 other streams to do today. So, so Kat, I'm kind of old fashioned around here. So we're going to do ladies first with my first question for you guys. And I just kind of wanted to know, and you guys expanded on it a little bit before we got here. So maybe touch on that too. Have you kept up with the trailers for the new Ahsoka show that's coming out? And if so, what have you thought of them?
So I have not watched, because there's 3 out, right? If I
think so.
Believe right. I haven't watched the 3rd one. I started to, and then I got distracted with my son and stuff. But I've been pretty impressed with everything that I've seen so far. I haven't seen anything that made me kind of go, ooh, except for, maybe how characters look and stuff like that. But as far as what they've actually revealed, I'm actually really pumped for it. So I don't have any gripes about that so far.
Okay, good. Now, Pete, have you kept up with the trailers? And if so, do you have some overall thoughts about what you're seeing so far?
I have, and they sucked me in like the minute I saw Sabine on Lothal in the tower, just like on Rebels, and that little like speedy highway.
Yeah.
In the cartoon, yeah, that just, and then Thrawn, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a great baddie.
Absolutely. I actually read some of those books years and years ago. I don't even know if they're canon anymore, but what a great character Thrawn turned out to be. So it's going to be interesting to see. Pete, we'll stick with you for just a second here because you guys are going to, it sounds like you're going to outclass me on this one. We were talking about Rebels specifically, but more of the recent live action shows as well. Have you watched any of those other shows, Pete? And do you have an assessment of like where you've fallen on some of the ones that hit you really hard or some of the ones you just couldn't stand? What are your thoughts on some of those?
Yeah, I've watched them all. Yeah. So let's see. Book of Boba Fett. Very, very disappointed. I thought this was Book of Boba Fett stream, season 2, but right before go time, Paul said, "No, that's not even a thing." I'm like,
right.
Hey, Denny. So yeah, disappointed on that. Mandalorian season 3. Yeah, it kind of left me going, oh man. Loved Mando season 1, season 2. Gosh, what else am I forgetting? What other?
Did you watch Rebels, Pete?
Yes,
the Rebels.
Yeah, I watched the Rebels cartoons. Man, what's the other live action that just ended with like the really long storyline, like really in detail? God, what the?
Andor?
Yes, Andor. I very much enjoyed Andor. You know, a very slow burn, like great story. I thought.
Yeah.
Loved
What about
it.
Obi-Wan?
So Obi-Wan, I thought it was a dumpster fire. I was up, I was down. So my bar is, you know, set fairly low because this is a Disney, you know, offering. But you know, I hope
All right.
that it's I hope that it's good. I don't know. Again, the trailers, I'm like, oh, okay, but we've all been here before, right? You see the trailer and you're like, and you're like, holy crap, that was the best part was the trailer.
Yeah, no doubt. Specifically, Pete, since you guys mentioned it, and then Kat, I'll go over to you. This is supposed to be the Ahsoka show. And by the way, Christian, if things improve on the audio front or get worse, let me know. You seem to be our junior engineer so far. This seems to be shaping up to be Rebels, season 5, or there was 4, and this is supposed to be 5. Does that kind of make you happy, Pete, or are you kind of dreading, like I was hoping Ahsoka would get her own show as opposed to being Rebels? What do you think of that?
This makes me exceptionally happy because that's how much I liked Rebels as a story. So that was very natural to tie right in, you know, where Ezra is missing, and here's Ahsoka kind of, you know, she's been out there, like what's going on. The fact that when she popped into Mando, it was like, oh, hot damn.
Yeah, that was a good episode for sure. Kat, right over to you. Same thing. It sounds like you've watched a lot of the Disney Plus shows, specifically Rebels. What were some of the highs and some of the lows, and how has it kind of prepared you for what we might get or not get here?
So if Pete's way down here, I'm way at the other end. I absolutely have no complaints of the shows. Like I'm at the total end. It's a great story. Like I fell in love with, you know, the first episode of Mando. I'm just like, it gave me that same feeling I get watching 4, 5, and 6. And, you know, I haven't had that in so long, you know, with the sequels and stuff like that. Like the first one was okay, but, you know, but it gave me that same feeling. So I kind of held on to that. And I loved every episode. They're like, oh, it's a filler episode. I don't care. It's a story and it's good. And I enjoyed it. So I love Mando. I really liked Book of Boba Fett because, you know, growing up in the 90s, we always wondered, did he actually get out of the Sarlacc pit? And then my brother-in-law was like, yeah, actually, there's these books that he actually got out and stuff, you know. So it kind of brought me back to that, which I really enjoyed. So I enjoyed that. It took me forever to watch Andor. I watched the first 5 episodes, and then I kind of got distracted with other stuff. And then they're like, "Hey, you need to finish this." So I'm like, "Oh, okay." But I really liked it. I liked how it seemed like they put a lot of thought and time into it, in the story and the writing, and I really enjoyed that. I'm obsessed with Obi-Wan.
Are you really?
Since one of my favorites is Revenge of the Sith. And so for me, so it's Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith. So when I got more Vader and him, I basically bawled through the whole thing. Like it brought me back to that moment.
Wow, that's cool.
And Obi-Wan fighting on Mustafar, and he's like, "I hate you, you're my brother." You know, like, so it instantly hit me in the feels, and I'm blubbering, and I love seeing Obi-Wan's growth in it, because to me, as soon as I see him, I'm like, that's a PTSD person. That's what that looks like. I was like, I suffer from that, so I know what that looks like. And then to see him pull himself out of that to me was just amazing. And then him just kind of like the last scene with him with his goggles on and everything, I'm like, that's like a comic book, like where he starts going on other adventures and starts being more out and not such a hermit. Like I loved all of that. With Rebels, I don't like the animation still. It still really bothers me. But I did like it. I cannot stand Ezra. I could care less that they're looking for Ezra, and I know that's a really big part of Ahsoka. But I'm like, oh, Ezra. Okay, like the first season.
Oh, the kid again.
Whew, he drove me crazy. Like I rather watch Jar Jar for 12 hours than Ezra. First season was.
First season was a little rough. I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's horrible, but I do love the banter with him and Zeb and Chopper. Like I love all that. Season 2, he was more tolerable, and I liked him a little better. But I kind of don't care about Ezra. everybody's like, oh,
I
where's
love it.
Ezra?
This is
Oh, you can
great.
see that.
I
And I'm
knew
like,
Kat would be awesome.
I don't care. I just want to know what's going on with Ahsoka. That's cool. I don't care about Ezra.
Oh my
That's
god.
my thing. I don't care about the main
I
person she's
love
trying
it.
to fight.
Oh my god. So Pete, just as a background note, and I think we've talked about this with you, this happens all the time when I get it, like someone who's new or doesn't have a lot of social media presence. They're like, I'm so nervous. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And then you can't get them to shut up. And it's awesome. Every bit of it is awesome. Kat, you're doing fine so far. I don't think you're nervous at all.
If I was talking too much.
No,
Not
no.
at all.
Okay,
No,
okay.
that's what this
No.
is about.
Yes. When I say can't get you to shut up, I mean that in a good way. Like, please. I was worried that I was gonna have to drag stuff out of you. I can just sit back and watch. So I'm
Yeah,
so happy
feel
that
I mean, I have lots more thoughts. So
What did you think of Rebels? I kind of liked it.
right, yeah. Oh, that's
It was fine.
torture. Yeah.
It was fine.
We've had guests or hosts on this show, Pete, where I was like that exact thing, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long it's gonna be a long interview. Oh my goodness.
We should have recorded this.
Oh, I think I have it. So it's saved into posterity on YouTube. So you can always go back and watch yourself later if you're like me, because you want to know.
Yeah.
Chris, big fan. Yes, Chris and I are going to get along great. Wow. Okay, that's some great thoughts, Kat. I think this is going to be an interesting watch. I don't like it when I have two people who think exactly the same about the show. So you guys are coming at it from different angles. I think we're going to have plenty of banter. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I kind of touched on this when I talked about the trailers, but I'd like you to go into Pete. Let's go back over to you. I'd like to go into a little bit more depth of your overall thoughts and impressions. We're going to talk about aesthetic and predictions later, but your overall, like, your comfort level and your thoughts about Ahsoka as a show and what we've seen so far. Did you have any more in-depth thoughts on that, my friend?
Not being a well-read with the books and like super, like, again, I've seen Rebels, but I didn't like study all the extra to it. I'm watching the trailers going, who's that guy? Who's she?
Right.
I'm like,
Right,
okay, yeah. I'm like, I know, Ahsoka. I know Thrawn. Sabine, Hera, who I love, but I'm like, who are these other? I mean, it's intriguing because I want to learn, I want to know. I hope I'm not being bamboozled by these, fast jump cuts that just leave you kind of going, who the hell's that? Know.
So I will tell you, Pete, I had never felt older in my life until my favorite series that we've gotten from Disney Plus was Andor, because everybody was like, oh my God, this is totally not for kids. It's so slow and this and that and the other. And I was just on pins and needles each time. So I'm with you. It's a lot of jump cuts. It's a lot of jumping around. Jedis, where are all these people during the old times and what the heck's going on? So I'm trying to keep an open mind, but and a lot of it was my own fault because I headcanoned the hell out of Boba Fett, and I got not the Boba Fett that I wanted or thought I was going to get, and had the rug pulled out from underneath me. So I'm trying to keep an open mind, but Bailey once said I'm cautiously optimistic. So we'll see. Does that sound fair to describe you, Pete?
Yeah, I think that's very fair. Okay. Cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Try binge. I loved the pacing, Matt, and a lot of people didn't. And I know a lot of people that I respect immensely felt the same way about that show. But then again, I looked around and they all had gray hair. So I'm like, yeah, it's probably for a different demographics. So, Kat, right over to you again, ma'am. Same question as I asked Pete. Can you go into a little more of the, your knowledge of some of the characters we saw? Because it sounds like you've watched Rebels. What you're feeling, as far as, are you optimistic? Are you excited about the coming show?
So so obviously I had issues with the animation of Rebels because that's why it took me so long to watch Rebels, because I was more of the Clone Wars one. But I love Hera. I think she's a great character. She looks off to me for some reason, and that really bothers me. Just kind of like in Rebels, it really bothered me how they animated Darth Vader and Anakin. I was like, what's wrong with Anakin's face? I was like, it looked fine in the animation series. Like, why would you mess? Like, it really bothered me. I couldn't get over it. Every time it come up, I'm like, oh, Vader looks horrible. What's wrong? You know, it's like
Vader always was like, oh,
right. But then
Yeah,
even they did a shot of Anakin, like a video of Anakin. I'm like, no, he doesn't look like that from Clone Wars. Like, what is wrong with you? So it pulls me out of the story a little bit for me. And every time I see Hera, I'm like, oh, Hera's awesome, but something pulls me out of it. Like, it just seems off a little bit. So I'm a little nervous about that because I'm all about the details, and I don't like that. So that's a little distracting to me. But I'm really excited to see everybody else except for Ezra. I could care less what he's doing.
Yeah, I figured as soon as they did the little
Ezra.
hollow Ezra, you were like,
I'm like, who's that? I don't know. I mean, Ahsoka, and you got the blue guy. Cool, awesome. That's all.
The blue
right?
guy.
That's all you need, right?
Oh,
that's
with his wee beady red eyes.
Yeah. I am though excited because wasn't Zeb the guy in Mando in season 3? Wasn't that actually Zeb?
Yeah,
in the bar.
They did him really well. So
they did him awesome.
Because I was like, holy crap, is that him? Like, he looked amazing.
I'm like, rewind that.
I'm super excited. Right, I'm super excited. Hopefully he'll be in it. So I'm excited to see him and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like, it seems really great from the characters that I do like.
Nice.
So, and I don't know what's going on with Sabine. I don't know. Is she just a Jedi now? Or is that kind of like, is it a farce kind of like with The Force Awakens where it made you think Finn was going to be the Jedi? You know what I mean? Like, so is it kind of like doing that trickery where you get all excited? Oh, she's going to be a Jedi now. And then like, haha, it's like, no. So that I'm not so worried about. I'm just kind of like, oh, what's going on with that? So.
So here's the theme of the Paul's Collectibles Ahsoka breakdown so far. Ezra. I feel you, Kat. Absolutely, yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, so we know Finn is Force sensitive. So I try not to get onto the sequels around here because it's like, so that's another 4-hour conversation. But yeah, that you make a good point, Kat. Whereas The Force Awakens was billed as something, we got something completely different. Then they shot that to hell and then decided to redo it. It was like, this is a mess. I can't handle it. But anyway. Oh, goodness. Pete, let's go back over to you, my friend. You know, this is one of those questions I'm loath to ask sometimes because it really asks you to do things that I think is a bad idea because then you can get disappointed. But what are you hoping to see happen as far as character arcs, planets, design, aesthetics? What are you hoping to see in your heart of hearts in the Ahsoka show?
For as much as this is the Ahsoka show, I hope that we spend a lot of time on the Ghost. I hope that we have a lot of it's a lot more of the live action, of Rebels, like with her, like, they're outrunning Thrawn, and there's lots of that dogged interaction, just like the cartoon show, where they're and I'll on their way to trying to find Ezra. Sorry, Kat.
I've accepted it's going to be about him sometime, so it's okay.
Yeah, he's going to pop in there sometime, but there's going to be other missions, obviously, right? Because there's this Spectre cell, maybe kind of reconstituting together. I don't know. I'm like, feed me, Seymour.
That's fair. Really quick before I go over to you, Kat. Brett over at Collecting Cool, you are the man. Thank you very much. Bring on the new Star Wars shows. Let's go. Hey, Pete, Kat, and Paul. And you guys are going to crack up. I actually have something for this. Brett, this is just for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's my brother doing some silly stuff from years ago, and I cut it.
Awesome.
So yeah, if you throw money at the channel, it goes right back into the channel to pay for StreamYard and stuff like that. And if so, then you get a thank you video from my brother. Kat, I think I have an idea as far as Ezra is concerned, but you can obviously expound on that if you'd like. But what are you like actually hoping? Please make sure this is in the show. Either planets we see, character arcs, because at some point these characters aren't around anymore because they're not in the sequel. So are we hoping to tie some of that up? What are you hoping for in the Ahsoka show?
I mean, I just really want to see her and Thrawn go at it. I just want to see, because it's been building up. They've been playing this cat and mouse game all through Rebels. I haven't read the newer Thrawn book, but I grew up with Heir to the Empire. So the 90s, Timothy Zahn, that's my Thrawn that I know. And I did really enjoy him on Rebels. So ultimately, I just want to see them just, can I say, go balls to the walls and just go at it. Like, that's the ultimate that I want to see them go at it. Of course, I don't care about that E guy, but if he happens to come to be a Jedi or whatever, she sends him to Luke. Okay, that's fine. Next. I would love, kind of like what P said, I'd love to see them kind of on the Ghost again, to kind of, since they have been emphasizing, it's just basically going to be Rebels season 5. I would like to see them go all together again, just because they were such a great dynamic all together. Yeah. So I think that would definitely hold up with it. And, they are such a support system to each other. So I would love seeing that, but ultimately just have Ron and her go at it. So.
Right.
I mean, he's such a, I love the tactician that is Thrawn. He's not just like, oh dang, those rebels got away again. Oops.
Yep. When he falls or he feels at something, he just kind of is just not like, okay, that was different than I anticipated. All right, I love that about him, because you never know where he's going to go exactly with that. And that makes him freaky, because you're like, I can't read him. Vader, he just force chokes somebody and you're done with it. Like, right. Okay. But with him, he's just, okay. Oh, that's creepier.
And he's studying you and your culture and your family. Like he's digging deep. He's not just like this cursory knowledge. Yep. It's spooky.
Quick break. Pete, there's my wife, who always comes in and says one thing pithy, because she knows nothing about Star Wars whatsoever. So, hey, Sarah, thanks for dropping in. My prediction is there will be something for everyone, but no one will be completely happy. And
I will be. I'll ignore the Ezra parts.
Okay, good. That's the cop psychologist coming out in my wife, the ever pragmatic, nothing is ever good enough, but it will never be that bad, type of thing. So
just fast forward through the Ezra parts. That'll be fine.
Kat, I'm seeing a theme running through this, Kat. I love it.
He's not needed.
Right. Well, you know what? Since we're right there, Kat, I think those are some great things to want out of a show. And you guys, I'm very impressed. For as much as you need to impress me, because you both were very measured with what you want to see from the show, so that you don't put your expectations up here and then Dave Filoni cuts your knees out from underneath, which I think is a smart thing to do. So, but Kat, let's stay with you for just a second here, ma'am.
Okay.
One thing, a couple of things that you're looking at the show and it's just causing you to wince and you're dreading doesn't happen. What is like the couple of things or one thing that you're like, please God, don't do this in the show?
Ezra takes over. I mean, isn't that everybody's nightmare? Like that. Like, listen, I'm gonna beat the dead horse with this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna turn into, it's not the Ahsoka show. It's all about Ezra, and we have to save Ezra. And Ezra's the Jedi. Ezra's because it kind of feels like, I know with people complaining with Book of Boba Fett, it's the Mando show because he showed up and he had to save him and he had this big arc, that type of thing, versus, no, this is his show. This has, Mando's a little side character in Boba's story type thing. And that's what I don't want to, because again, it's Ahsoka, not Ezra. So that's my worry, is that it's going to kind of shift to that. I just can't stand him. I know.
It's okay, Kat. It's
a big thing to save him. Yeah, we need him. No, you don't. There's other Jedi in the universe. It's fine. People get born every day that are Force users. She can find them. Luke can find them. It's fine. but I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
That's honestly like a big thing that I worry about, and I know I shouldn't. And it's probably
Kat's
dumb,
like,
but that's
just
the
hand
big
him over
thing
to
I worry
the
about.
Inquisitors.
No.
Just hand him up.
Just let
Oops.
Thrawn have him. It's fine. Like it's fine.
Sacrificial
if he dies
lamb.
off, I'm not gonna care. I really won't care. Okay, cool. You saved me a force choke later. Awesome.
Oh God.
I don't care.
So really, really quick. There's a blast from the past. Gallenorian Saber. It's always good to see you. Thanks for stopping
what's
by.
up?
And I gotta put PD Max comment up here. Spinoff show called Chopper, or even better, Get to the Chopper. I see what you did here, PD.
Yeah, he
so
is.
funny.
I mean, he's hands down one of my. Next to Zeb, I think he's like my favorite character out of Rebels. Is Chopper.
The robot?
That's amazing.
Yeah, because
wow.
he's
Okay.
so great, and just like R2, you know, you totally get what he's saying in a scene, when they're like, Chopper, get to that, and he's like, F off, and you're like, that is awesome the way they. So I hope that he's just like that in here,
Yeah, it can bring that vibe in.
Yeah,
right. Bring a little
Definitely.
dignified levity to the show,
Mhm.
not just straight stupidity.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Kat, I think your concern is a valid one. We're joking that you're down on Ezra a lot, but it's actually a valid concern, because how many times in some of the movies lately, or especially in like Book of Boba Fett or Kenobi, was it billed as this person's show, and then we follow little Leia around, which I actually didn't mind, but Book of Boba Fett,
Right.
with 2 whole episodes. And in the next one after that, he doesn't even talk. It's like, is this about Boba Fett? So hopefully you're right. Yeah, hopefully it's about Ahsoka. Yeah. Pete, over to you, sir. Same question. What are you hoping doesn't happen in this show, or are you dreading it's just going to make you turn it off if it happens?
For as much as I like Mando, I don't want to see him or Grogu show up in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
Like, no crossovers. I don't need the the old school 80s ABC,
oh yeah. What was it when the Harlem Globetrotters showed up on Scooby-Doo and stuff? Like, come on.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow, Scoob. It's the
Get wow.
And you're like, all right.
These guys are really good at basketball, but they suck at solving mysteries. You're like, oh, yeah. What is this?
Yeah.
So
I don't want it to be a freaking, yeah. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like
commercial.
A
commercial for, say, like Galaxy's Edge kind of stuff. Like, don't start working that in there.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna stop off. On Batu. Like, don't. Just don't.
Oh. And Hondo Anaka walks in and he's like, "Hey, what can I help you?" Like, oh, here we go. Okay.
You're like, oh. I mean, he is in Rebels, but and I do like Hondo. He's good, but I'm like, no, don't try to turn it into a commercial to bolster Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Blue milk, anyone?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna advertise for the hotel, but I guess that collapsed already. So anyway.
Yeah, so you have to worry about that.
Yeah. Oh, here it's Dad Jokes Thursday in chat. PG, apparently the Chopper show will be happening. You guys are all these are my people. Thrawn actually goes to Batu in one of his novels, because of course he does, Matt. Right? Yeah.
Cool.
Oh God, we shall see. I'm with you guys though. I want it to be about Ahsoka. I want a little bit of entertainment and levity, as you mentioned, Pete, with Chopper, but I don't want it to be someone else's show when we get there, Kat. So I'm with you guys on this one. Can we just? And then I'm going to throw one in there. I don't normally weigh in on the topics, but for me, I want a lot of closure this first season. I want to, because we're starting to bump up against the sequels here really fast, and it's like, come on, guys, let's start wrapping some of this up. Especially, with Mandalorian season 3, as you mentioned, Pete, because they were so busy worrying about trying to, what seems like, set up other stuff. It really lost its vibe from season 1, especially in season 2. So I'm with you.
Yep. Definitely.
Okay. Those are some excellent answers. Kat, you're doing fine. I'm loving to have you. So
awesome.
Let's look at some pictures, you guys, and I want to get your thoughts. So we're going to talk about some characters. Now, I have an overall question towards the end, as you guys saw, about the overall design aesthetic and the makeup of the characters. But as we go through the pictures, if you see something you got to get out right then please, by all means, let me know. So the first one that I had for you guys, this is the standby. You know, that's going to be the first one we go to. Kat, let's go over to you, ma'am. Rosario Dawson seems to have been born to play this role. I think she was even a fan cast before they got her to play it. Obviously, we've seen her a bunch, so there's nothing new here. But your thoughts on Rosario as this character, design aesthetic, how's she doing? What do you think?
I really liked her. I was really worried about her when she showed up in Mando, or there was talks or like the leak, pictures of her and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I don't know, because I was kind of hoping they would get, what's her name, Ashley or whatever,
Ashley
the one that
Eckstein?
actually voiced her. I was kind of hoping they would, have her be Ahsoka. But the more, when I watched her actual performance, not just seeing the pictures of her, she's a perfect fit. I absolutely love her as Ahsoka. And I think they made the right choice. Like you said, I think she was definitely made for that role. I'm super excited. It's going to be her, and I think she rocks that character.
Agree. And we've gotten some of the behind the scenes stuff too. I don't know if you've seen those YouTube videos, but she's just such a pleasant and happy person. And she seems so excited that you just can't help but root for her. Now, that being said, Pete, we'll go over to you. Do you agree, or am I an idiot?
No, I agree. I got to see her on the live stage at Star Wars Celebration. And
Nice.
It was her and, I'm so bad with names, the gal playing Sabine were together. And I was like, everything else just stopped, because I'm like, I'm into this. I think both of them were cast very well for the characters that they're going to be playing. And yeah, I'm in love with her as Ahsoka. Can I say she's hot? Can I say that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure,
yes. I think she's so good looking as Ahsoka. I mean,
She is. Yep. She's a hottie.
Yeah. And a badass. I mean, just. Yep.
Oh, I just fear that Rosario Dawson might use some of her lines from Clerks too. We shall see. All right, let's move on to the next character I have for you guys. Balin Skoll, or what's this guy? I forgot his name.
Is that George Clooney?
Skoll. Right? Yeah. Okay, Pete. Let's start with you.
That's
specifically.
I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
Did you ever see the Divergent series?
No.
Okay, so he passed away, unfortunately, recently, but he was in the Divergent series. He played one of the leaders in the first two movies. I really like him as an actor. He's really cool. But he's from that series. I forget his name now, but it does look like George Clooney, yeah.
Yeah, and those
now I can't unsee it now, Pete.
Right? Yeah, well, like the very first trailer, where you just kind of get a little glimpse and he's got the hood. I was like, George Clooney? like I'm rewinding, like, what? And then once he, you got a little dialogue line, I'm like, okay, no.
Okay. Kat, you kind of mentioned it, but what are your thoughts initially? Do you know anything about this character? Does she come from something else, or is this new for Ahsoka, or what do you know about this guy?
I know nothing.
Okay.
For me, here's my thing is I'm really bad with, because everybody's like, oh, I got to look up 1,000 things on all these characters before, like with Mando and stuff. I don't do that. If I see the trailers and there's a little discussion, cool, but I don't pour everything in before the show because I feel like that sometimes will form your opinion before. And then it'll kind of make you feeling one way, and then it gets you down that, and then you're like, wait a minute, that's not what I was expecting. Well, that's because you formed it in your own head how it should be. So I kind of don't pay attention.
No, that's like, actually smart. Names. Yeah.
But I'm just like, ooh, a Sith, awesome, let's go at it. So I'm just excited to see an actual Sith promoted on our show. So.
Do you think he's a Sith, or I heard some people calling him gray because his lightsaber is orange and apparently that means something? Kat, or do you think he's a Sith?
Unless I'm told something directly, I will, else or until I see it, I just call him a Sith. In my head, he's just a Sith. But people, because to me on my screen, that looks red. That doesn't look orange to me.
Oh, okay. Pete, what are your thoughts? Is that an orange lightsaber? Is this a Sith or a Grey Jedi or what? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not hip down to all the it's the orange, so that means I'm like, I don't dig that deep, but I'm like, from what I saw in the the final trailer, it's like, oh, he bad.
Yes.
right?
Let's
Like,
see
we
what
are not the
Shabby-
Jedi.
Right? Yeah.
Let's mix it up, and I'm a Sith with a green lightsaber. Haha.
Right,
Fake
yeah.
everybody
Like,
out.
fooled you.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Nice.
My lightsaber color is whatever crystal I could find.
Fair enough, Kat. All right. Moving right along here, Pete, let's stick with you. And this is the character I want to focus on the most because I'm going to be honest with you. This character and then some of the design aesthetics, which we're going to talk about later, but specifically this character is the character that is causing me the most consternation. What are your thoughts on how they cast Hera here and what she looks like, Pete?
So far, from what I've seen, nothing like just really screamed at me like, "Oh, this is incredibly off." I'm digging it.
Okay.
She was a cool cat, as it were. Thank you. In Rebels, and I'm excited to see her exude that again in live action. I don't have a problem with how she looks.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. And she's obviously a general, and because she's wearing the general's rank plaque there. So, and of course, I think we heard them calling her general in in Rogue One. Like she's not in it, but they're like, General Syndulla. So
yeah,
I'll be interested to see how this goes. Kat, over to you, ma'am. Do you have any thoughts, positive, negative, or completely indifferent as to how they cast this character, what she sounds like, and how she's carrying herself, at least in the trailer so far?
If I close my eyes and I hear her talk, I can't pick out that that's Hera. Because, it's obviously you get used to the characters on Rebels and stuff, and, you can hear them all out, but it doesn't stand out like her voice did in the show.
Okay.
So that throws me off a little bit. But, in this picture, she looks great. She looks amazing. But when I saw her moving around, I can't put my finger on it, but she just looks off to me for some reason. I don't instantly go, oh, yeah, that's Hera. I have to kind of do a double take and go oh no, I guess that is Hera. So I don't it's nothing like you said that stands out. It's just something a little is not working for me. So hopefully that'll change, because sometimes you feel a certain way, when you just see a small little part of it, and then when you actually watch, you're like, oh, it's not that bad. It's different for whatever reason. So maybe hopefully it'll do that. Yeah,
and the in Bad Batch, I think it was the Twi'leks are all speaking with a French accent when they're on their own home planet, and then they start speaking normally. But Kat, you kind of helped me put my finger on what it is. Now, this is a very attractive woman, and I'm sure she's an excellent actress, so I'm certainly not, giving her a hard time. But Hera, for what little bit I saw in the cartoon or the animation, seemed much more slight, where she was, a surprise package, where she seemed slight and much more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not feminine, but very, very, smaller and more delicate. Whereas this woman looks like she could whip my ass, and I'm 6'3", So I think that's where the disconnect is for me. And I'm like you, Kat. I hope that when we see the show, we're like, oh, now I see it. So yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And apparently she's married to the Obi-Wan actor, everyone is saying here, in various levels of decency.
Wait, Ewan McGregor?
Yeah, well, let's just, I'm just going to put that up, even though Rick is about brusque. She was only guessed because she looks good. So I'm guessing, yeah, is she married to, is she married to Ewan McGregor, you guys? Because I did not know that. So hopefully somebody will put it in the chat.
Okay, so now I hate her. Okay, cool.
Now I hate her.
Now I hate her. That's awesome, Kat.
All right, that's fine. You know what? Hayden is still single, so.
Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. All right, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Takes one time to meet this.
Yep. Right back to you, Pete, here. We get our first recurring character that I'm aware of she was in The Mandalorian. I actually liked this actress that played Morgan Elsbeth because she just oozed evil. Are you happy to see her back in this show, or did you think she was dead at the end of Ahsoka's fight with her?
I thought she was, severely wounded. It's not gonna go well for her. She's toast. But she was a good baddie. So to see her back, as long as she doesn't have mechanical legs or something silly like that, I'm good.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be interested. She looks like she's playing that same evil character, again in the trailer. So I'll be interested to see how they work her in. Kat, what were your thoughts because this was kind of a surprise for me. I did not expect to see this character, Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Are you happy to see her? Did you think she was dead? Is it weird that she's here? What say you, Mel?
I did think she was dead, but I also thought Cobb Vanth was dead. I didn't know he was, I didn't get for the longest time that he was in Boba's
back to chamber.
Back to take. Yeah, I didn't get that. I thought Fennec was dead. She wasn't. So it's not too it got me surprised a little bit, and then I was like, oh, okay. Well, all those other ones that I thought were dead were back. So I'm excited to see that she is. I thought she was really great. So I like other baddies. So
I don't disagree. And Jonathan makes a good point, although he's being a little facetious here. Does anybody die in Star Wars? It's my new hit song coming out. It's like no, they never do. Kat knows the second verse for sure. So yeah. Oh man, and that's right, exactly. Hey, Mr. B, it's always good to see you, so I appreciate that.
I force healed myself. Wait,
what? Oh my goodness. Here's the thing that kills me, and I'm just going to say it. Qui-Gon Jinn, I think one of the best characters Star Wars has ever come up with. Through the stomach, dead. Everybody else through the stomach, put a Band-Aid on it and go chase Luke around. It's like, oh, you're killing me here. You're killing me with this. So.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, exactly. Kat, they
oh
show
yeah,
this little thing.
Cat Bane is not. Oh, yeah. No way. He was hitting that, and Toto was going to come and save his carcass.
Of course, yeah. We're just going to see. I mean, for goodness sakes, Fennec was. I mean, never. Don't get me started. But that's good. Okay, as long as we're not, at least she was a good enough character, and they kind of left it ambiguous at the end. So we didn't see her get sliced down into 3 pieces, fall in the water, and drown, and then here she's back all in one piece with, as Pete put it, metal legs or something. So we'll see.
Right.
All right, we're going to move on. Kat, I want to stick with you on this one. We'll start off with you. Apparently, we're doing something different with Sabine this time. And this is the other thing that makes me kind of nervous, or that it might be a bait and switch. Thoughts on the casting? Thoughts? She's got a lightsaber here. Was that a thing in Rebels? What's going on in your head, ma'am?
So
exactly.
I think one of Sabine's most standout qualities is her hair. She always had crazy hair. You didn't know what to expect. I think they kind of it's just one color now. I kind of expected more from that. I know it's a dumb thing, but that was her, that she was always very colorful. She spray painted this, spray painted that. She was always colorful. You knew, even Thrawn said it. He goes, I could tell this artwork is from her. It was very distinct. And then she represented herself physically like that. So I'm a little kind of disappointed in that. But with her in the show, with her training before, with the darksaber and everything like that, I'm not too surprised that she has a lightsaber. But again, it goes back to the whole Finn got screwed over. We thought he was going to be it. So is this kind of another bait and switch, or is she just kind of standing in, oh, somebody got their lightsaber knocked out, I'll step in because I know what I'm kind of doing, type thing? Or is she actually going to be a Jedi? So I don't know. I'm a little torn, but I think the actress playing her is awesome. I think it's a good choice.
I think they cast her very well, because that's what Sabine looked like to me. What little I saw her in real life. Pete, over to you, sir. She's got a lightsaber. The actress casting, some of the stuff that Kat mentioned. What say you, my friend, about this?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that she's got a saber in her hands, and somebody else was talking about that. Yeah, she did train with the darksaber with Kane when he was around. Yeah, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Yeah. So that doesn't surprise me. And even Ahsoka was, trying to train her and never finished. There's kind of that ongoing theme of, hey, we're gonna go. Oh, sorry, I gotta go. Your training's not finished.
You can figure it out. You can figure it out.
You know what? But it's been that way from the start. Your training not finished. I gotta go save my friends.
Right.
So I'm all right with that.
See, so this is where my ignorance kicks in because I didn't watch a lot of Rebels, not gonna lie. So I didn't know she had trained with Kane. I know who Kane is. I'm actually pretty proud of that. And I didn't know that she had messed with the Darksaber. And it's hard to see in this picture, but somebody was saying that's Ezra's lightsaber, the staple gun. So we'll see.
It very well
Adorable
be.
thing.
It
Yeah,
is a little slimmer. That would be cool.
If you look up here, right over there, it looks like there's a little bit more to the saber back here. So maybe it is Ezra's. But I'll be interested to see.
Wasn't his destroyed though, or did they fix that?
I can't remember.
I don't know.
Because it was a pistol, right? And then I
Pistol
thought
and
or
saber.
are they talking about the new one he made?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
all
remember
I know is
what the new one. I know the first one he made. It was like a blaster / lightsaber.
Yep.
But
Sabine was not force sensitive in Rebels, as far as I recall. And her armor was more colorful. So are we thinking that she's training with this? Yeah. Oh, that's it. It doesn't look very colorful in this, does it? Interesting. I'll be interested to see. I think this character is going to be one of the ones that we get the most revelations about, frankly. So I want to go back to something Blue X asked. I'm sorry, Pete, go.
No, I think her character is going to be exceptionally interesting. She was trained in the Imperial Academy. She developed the tech to basically take out Mandalorians with their Beskar armor, and she knows that she gave them that tech. There's going to be a lot going on of regrets. So yeah, a big redemptive loop for her, I hope. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's actually, I'll be honest with you, Kat. When you talked about it's going to end up being someone else's show besides Ahsoka, this is the person I think we're going to, you know what I mean? Because she seems to be featured. So,
that's great. That's what I'm afraid.
Yeah.
As long as it's not Ezra taking over, I'm okay if Sabine takes over.
Okay. Excellent. Pete, I'd like to get your thoughts on this first, and then we'll go with Kat. Blue X makes a great question because we're starting to have, Disney's starting to have some financial issues. If Ahsoka flops, Pete, what do you think Disney's going to do with the rest of the Star Wars franchise? I mean, they keep canceling the movies and pulling directors out, and now with the writer's strike, that doesn't look like that's going to. What do you think is going to happen if this flops?
I think if it flops, they're going to find something else to take and throw at the wall. I mean, they purchased Lucasfilm for a shit pot of money. They're not just going to sell that off. I was watching some of the DSNY News and those guys that cover the earnings calls and what's going on financially with Disney. And again, the parks are what are saving Disney's bacon right now. And what's at both those parks? Galaxy's Edge. Barring the hotel but we all saw that was
it's
not
gonna $6,000 a night. Oh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm like, I don't know what focus group they were using where they were like, oh, I would go because I mean, as soon as I heard the amount, I was like, what? No way. I mean, it's cool if you got to go and experience that. I'm not jumping on that at all. That's awesome, but it's already super expensive to go to Disney, let alone spend a couple days at the Star Wars hotel motel. But they still have Galaxy's Edges, plural. So they're going to keep that Star Wars alive somehow, some way. They brought Mando into the parks, which was a very smart move.
Yep.
I see them doing that again. I'm starting to feel, I'm 50. I'm starting to feel old and geezerish, like back in my day, Star Wars was, but at the same time, you've got this younger generation, like my daughter's generation, and one day will be her kids. They're going to keep plunking away at Star Wars, and some are going to be great and some are going to be just absolute stinkers, but they're going to keep going and they're going to sell Star Wars as a brand to that generation. For my daughter and her husband, it's Clone Wars, because that's what was on and going on. when they were kids. So that's what they love. So that's got the hooks in it. They're going to keep trying. They'll, you know.
I think you're right, Pete. I don't think that, you can be pessimistic about it, or you can be a realist about it, whatever. Long story short, they're going to squeeze as much out of Star Wars for as long as they can. And I don't think this is going to flop to begin with. I mean, second of all, even if it did, I think you're right. We'll just move on to the next thing and keep, we might adjust here and there, but I think you're spot on. Kat, are Pete and I nuts? If this flops, are they done? What do you think?
No, it's a cash cow. I mean, okay, because you have Pete and you guys on one end, right? I'm the other idiot that's like, everything's amazing from Star Wars, right? Like, I have no problem.
Everything is
People are always like,
awesome.
I'm gonna complain about this with Book of Boba Fett and Mando and Obi-Wan, and I'm like, I love everything. Everything's shiny. Like, I'm who's not gonna let it die, like, because they're counting on other people like me to that. But look at they cashed in with Ahmed Best doing that. It's kind of like the 90s Hidden Temple, game show with the young Jedis. We have the new Young Jedi Adventure cartoon.
Yep.
That's all cuties, and there's a huge toy line for there. And then
which
there's
are
huge
really
pops
cool toys.
there. And I'm a huge fan of Nubs. I love that little guy. He's adorable. I love him. But and then you keep having, gaming greats for action figures coming out. They're probably going to end up doing something with that. Or everybody talks about, we want a Revan movie. I would love a Darth Revan movie, or having Malik and all of them, Bastila, and will we ever get it? I don't know, but could they totally cash into that? Absolutely. Sure. I know tons of people that would be like, oh, I was out, and then they pulled me back in just for that. So it'll never be dead, because honestly, you could just make Yoda and Grogu a small little show, and people will lose their minds over it. So
yeah, I think that's an excellent point. And I think you guys both, Chasing 80s Toys said, it's not going anywhere. Pete, you nailed it. I think you're right. We'll have our ups and downs, but they'll be dropping this stuff, and because I'm even older than you, Pete, I'm 53. They're going to be dropping this stuff until I'm dead. You know what I mean? I like my, so we'll see. Let's just take a quick look at what Jonathan said here real quick, and then I want to move on to the next topic. Andor, even though it was epic in Mando season 3 being super meh, did not get anywhere close to the viewing numbers the previous shows got, not to mention these shows cost a fortune to make. I agree. But, I think you guys nailed it. I think it's going to be a while before they decide to do away with Star Wars for sure. Wait, there's a Star Wars.
That's a great idea.
That's a great, yeah, right.
That Hasbro that's a whole other stream.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We'll have a whole other money making business for them, so it's not going to die out. I mean, that alone will keep them afloat. So,
I'm the worst example of that. I don't need a Boba Fett prototype helmet. I don't need that, so I only ordered 2. I'm sorry. Yeah.
See, priorities. Yeah. Priorities.
Yeah, yep. Exactly. So if I need it, then I end up with like 4 in the closet in there. Keep telling myself I'm going to paint them different colors someday.
I got the Stormtrooper helmet thanks to Paul's last video.
There you go.
Yeah. What fun is if I don't have to come over here, Pete, do the helmets with me too.
It's like, do it.
You don't you do it. Yeah. By the way, you got a whole new room down there. I watched some of your videos. So you got to fill it up with stuff. So.
Helmets would be good. Like,
look at that. Come on, man. You want some of that. Come get it. Come get it, baby. Oh my goodness. Let's go back to I have one more character that I wanted to talk about, because we're not going to talk about all of the characters in the show, but this one was another one that kind of intrigued me. The antithesis of Sabine is what I'm calling this character. Pete, do you know anything about her? What are your thoughts on her? What do you think? When you saw this, what was going through your head?
I have no idea who this is, but
okay,
just the fact that she's clearly dark cloaked in a baddie, I'm like, okay, cool.
Sold. Because we haven't gotten a real, Morgan Elsbeth, sure, but we haven't gotten like a legit, straight, cold, badass female villain in quite a while that I'm aware of. Am I missing something, Peter? Or is this because this she really intrigued me?
No, you made a great point. Is this the yin and yang with Sabine? I hope so.
That would be an interesting way to go for sure. Kat, first of all, does this character have a history? Do you know who she is? Is she new for the show? And what did you think of her when you saw her?
I have no idea about her. I have no idea, but I like, to me, her gauntlet or knee pad kind of looks like Mandalish.
Oh, it does.
It's so to me, I'm kind of like, oh, is that kind of a play, or am I just putting weird thoughts in my head? So I kind of took it that way, is that she's going to be coming after Sabine from a different angle. So that's how I kind of took her. But I have no idea. But I would love just for a straight up evil chick. Right. I mean, we kind of had that in Obi-Wan, but she was technically good and had a conscience and blah blah blah, and she. I liked her, but I want someone that's just straight up evil. Like I want an evil chick, and she looks like she could possibly do that. So.
Right, and that's why when you said that, it just reminded me. But that's why I didn't include her, or she doesn't. The female, I forgot her name already, from Obi-Wan, because. Yeah, Reva. Yeah, her motivations seemed a little forced and a little odd, and she was always conflicted anyway. Whereas, obviously we're pre-guessing. This woman looks like, I'm coming to kill you, try and stop me type of, you know what I mean? So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sorry.
No, go, Kat, go.
I was just gonna say, I don't get me wrong, I really liked Reva. I liked her character, and I always kind of had a feeling she was part of, the Padawans and stuff like that. But see, from my point of view, she still had good in her. She was on her way of becoming a Jedi. I just want someone, just a straight up evil, dark side, whatever female character. None of that kind of slipping in. Just give me a straight bad girl. That's what I would. But I did like Reva. Let me make the clear. I did like Reva. She was awesome.
Fair enough. As long as she's not one of those damn scooter kids, right?
Right.
Exactly. There you go.
Oh yeah. So I love having Rick in the comments, because no matter what I say, I'm not even sure if he really believes it. He just says the opposite to disagree with me all the time. So I appreciate you having you, Rick. I wanted to do a quick shout out to just what Paul needs: more toy figures, especially troopers, and more helmets, face blues. But yeah, Michael Hendrickson, Pete has been watching me since 2019, back when I was doing this with my phone, and when he shows up, it's really cool. Yeah, so I think he was like subscriber number 2 after my mom or something. So, so it's always good to see you, Michael. But yeah, so, and Kat, you when I stared more at this, I'm seeing some things now. She's obviously got some sort of Jedi robes, but you remember in the Clone Wars, they were putting on pieces of clone armor. That knee pad looks a little scout trooperish to me. And this thing on her hand up here looks a little stormtroopery, clone troopery too. So I wonder.
Right. It's something.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. I know I'm not totally crazy, because I was like, it's from something. That's not just normal. Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't just piece that together out of what it was shop. She was wearing that for another reason before, right?
That's how I took it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. All right. Well, let me see where we're at here, you guys. We're only at an hour. This is actually really good, because I always feel like I want to talk for 6 hours, and then. Okay, so we talked about the thoughts on the new Grey Jedi characters. We talked about whether or not you were happy to see Morgan Elsbeth back. Here's the thing: in this latest trailer they dropped, I don't know if you saw it, Kat. They're talking about. And they show older footage of Anakin Skywalker. Pete, I'd like to start with you on this one, if you don't mind. Thoughts on bringing Anakin back? Good, bad? Are you happy? What's going through your head when all of a sudden Anakin's a part of this in some fashion?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, that's him and Ahsoka are, you can't have one without the other. They're totally woven together, from Clone Wars. And then even into Rebels, where she learns like, oh no, you're Vader, like she learns his truth, like, no, and you see them battle in Rebels. Yeah, you gotta have him.
Fair enough. Yeah, JT. I make a dad jokes myself. I don't even realize that her motivations were forced, as in the Force. I see what you did there. Yeah, I like Matt. Matt's a little bit like Rick, except for he just does it with a lot more words. No matter what I say, it's the opposite for myself. They're good points. I just like giving these guys a hard time because they're old and crotchety like me.
Yeah.
Kat, when you saw as Christian over at Smuggler's Canyon used to put it, when you saw Vader or Anakin Skywalker rock up in the trailers, which apparently is an English thing, what were your thoughts? Were you excited? Were you dreading it? Do you think they're going to ruin him? What's going through your head?
I screamed. I mean, my name, Vader's girl. Like,
yeah.
But it goes deeper than that, because I was a fan of his back in the 2000s when he was on this little Canadian show and stuff, and that's when I first saw him. And then his other works, I was like, oh, I really love this guy. Then I found out he was Vader. I was like, oh. But I absolutely like what Scuba was saying. They go hand in hand. You know, she was so young when they got together. And I mean, they had such a strong bond, and you saw, like what Scuba was saying, the heartbreak when she found out he was Vader, and her just wanting to save her best friend, her master, all of that. You felt that. So I feel like you can't really have Ahsoka without some kind of Vader in it, whether it's a flashback, you know, or whatever, or him actually coming in, or Anakin, whatever. But I don't really think, I think if he wasn't in it, it would be a missed opportunity, because I think that says a lot of her story.
Yep.
So I'm very excited that they're in it. Like, I was fine with the flashbacks with Obi-Wan and Anakin and them dealing, even though they looked a little older. I absolutely loved it because it added another little behind the scenes, kind of like what Clone Wars did. It added other parts of their relationship to it. So
other dimensions.
I'm all for it, because it just adds another layer to whatever she's going through.
And Pete, maybe you can speak to this. Maybe it's because I'm a lot older. I actually saw Star Wars: A New Hope in the theater when I was 8 years old. And so a lot of this holds almost a reverence for me. And I'm worried that the more we get of the characters, sometimes the more it takes away, or not ruins them, but kind of changes them a little bit. Do you feel that at all, Pete? Or are you just like, no, I'm cool, it's all game?
No, I mean, it's all game in my, Star Wars digestion of content, but I protect my OT trilogy, in my head canon, and the 4, 5, 6. I'm like, nothing will ever. And I want to get the original cuts. I don't even want the. I have the where he monkeyed with them, and I'm like, I just want what. And again, I saw him in the theaters as a kid too. So, I think I was 5 or 6 when we saw Star Wars.
Yeah, I think I'm just about 3 or 4 years older than you. So that sounds about.
I mean, we front row. Vader was like 10 stories high, and I was just scared shitless. Honestly, I was just like, when he burst through the Tantive 4, it was like, oh my God. I remember just, I'm glad I'm with my mom and dad. They're right here.
Right.
But yeah, I love those stories. So I protect that, in this bubble. Yeah, we'll see.
So it sounds like, Pete, what you're saying is you've kind of walled off that experience 4, 5, and 6 into your head, and then their own little section over there. Nothing can really mess with them other than a little bit of CGI. And then the rest of it, you can just enjoy it outsght of 4, 5, and 6. Is that
I'm as again, because I'm 50, I'm crabby, I'm complaining.
Right. Yes. I think that's fair. That's a good bit, because one of the problems I had with Kenobi was, they tried to explain why certain things happened in A New Hope that I didn't think needed explaining. And like, I get it, but like, how many times is he going to walk away from Vader and just let him destroy the galaxy rather than just cut him down there? Now, that being said, it's that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, stop, go do new stories. Stop, get away from my old school characters.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Kat, you're not obviously getting any Vader's girl. I mean, that says it all right there. You're not getting any sort of, hey, stop messing with my characters. You want to see more and more and more. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, well, as far as like their animation and Rebels, that irritated me to no end, and I'm like, fix it, because they ruined that. But that's just aesthetics. But no, I'm all for it. Like I said, I loved every second. Him and Vader. I love all of it. So the more I can get, I really enjoy the backstories, because when you watch 1, 2, and 3, you don't get much from like Padme and her story and that kind of stuff unless you read other books or unless you do other stuff. With the Clone Wars series, you got to see how amazing that character truly is. You know, and kind of like everybody hated Jar Jar. I had no problem with that. I was younger, but I had no problem with them. And then in the Clone Wars series, you got to see he was actually, he was a doofus, but he was still brave. He was adventurous. Like, he was all these other things. So the more I can have that adds to that original, I'm all for it.
You know what, Kat? I'm actually kind of jealous of you a little bit in that regard, because I can't force myself to think 100% that way. And that's a much better place to be, because you're absolutely right. They're adding more depth and more detail to characters that we just get smatterings of in the 2-hour movies. What a great way to look at that. Wow. That's awesome. All right. Anakin, we're getting him. Let's see how they do it. All right.
Don't mess this up.
Don't. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Exactly.
Kat, let's stay with you for a minute. We've kind of touched on it here and there, but I want to make this the actual topic of the question for a second. A lot of people are talking about the design aesthetic of the show, specifically, like a lot of the characters' costumes look super clean for the era. Hera looks a little off, which you mentioned. From what you've seen overall, though, because we just kind of drilled down on a couple of characters, just from the trailers, what are you thinking about the design aesthetic of the show and the characters and the environs? Good, bad, indifferent? How does it make you feel?
You know, I don't, as of right now, I don't really have a negative for it, you know, besides the whole Hera looks a little off to me. It kind of put me, like, not really staring at her face, but seeing her in the Ship of the Ghosts and stuff, it brought me right back to Rebels. And me thinking, oh, what's going on? Like, what adventure are they about to go? Are they in trouble? Is she saving the day? Like, it put me immediately just back into that, because to me, it still had the same feel, even though she was a little off. So far from what I've seen, I'm actually really excited. So again, I don't have much on this. I'm sorry.
No,
but it just put me back to Rebel season 4 and you know, with the other ones, just because of, you know, I didn't see anything that I was like, that looks really out of place. I haven't seen enough for it to make me feel. Now, next week, I may feel very differently. But so far, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't have too many faults with it. So
fair enough. And just to clarify one more time, Kat, before we move on to Pete, if this ends up being the next season of Rebels, but in live action, for the most part, you're cool with that, other than Ezra, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just, you know, I don't even know why we have to bring him up half the time in the show, but you know, he's such a, you know, not even a thought in the show at all. So I don't know why he'd be in this one, but yeah, no, I would be all up for that. Absolutely. Because they had such a great dynamic with each other, even though Ahsoka wasn't in it all the time. I think when she wasn't, it wasn't like awkward and weird and like, why is she here? She fit in kind of like with the family. So I'm all for that.
Nice. Pete, over to you, sir. Overall assessment of what we've seen so far of the special effects, the action, and the design aesthetic of the locations and the costumes. Do you have a good feeling, bad feeling, indifferent? What are your thoughts?
Well, Left Coast makes a good point. You know, are they a little too clean? I'm glad they're not just uber dirty. Like, can as long as we don't like go back to a desert planet, I'm like, all right. I'm like, stay the hell away from Tatooine. I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it. I'm like, I hate sand. It gets everywhere, you know.
Right.
But also, I get that this is Star Wars TV. This is not a blockbuster movie. Yes, there's going to be CGI backgrounds. They're using those wraparound screens to, you know, play with both practical set and, you know, give us a world. So, yeah, I separate my theatrical quality from its Disney Plus TV.
That makes a lot of sense. Like when we flew over the building in Book of Boba Fett and you could see the wood and the scaffolding behind. Yeah, it was a facade. You're like, oops. Okay, maybe not quite that bad, but
don't go that bad. Yeah,
they're just trying to remodel. Come on, guys.
Yes, they're remodeling.
You've never had a home renovation take too long.
The guy with blue jeans in the background. Oops.
Right. Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. And the Mandalorian, that was awesome.
Like, really?
Yeah. Just standing back there. Oh, Let's see. Pete, these TV shows cost 200 million. So not for, yeah, that's true. But I still think you're right though, Pete, as long as it's still a TV show and it has to be serialized. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And get blown. I'll be happy, right? Yeah. Nice, JT. All right. We're gonna get to the next question in just a second here, guys. But I want to do a little bit of housekeeping really fast. And that is you've been watching the Ahsoka Breakdown Show with Scuba Pete and Kat here at Paul's Collectibles. It looks like the show is going to stay on Wednesdays. So we will be here every Thursday, 1 p.m. Pacific. I think that's 9 p.m. in the UK and 4 on the East Coast. Am I right, Pete?
Yep.
Okay. Because we wanted to be able to include some of the UK audience this time. So we're not on at like 3 a.m. there. And thus far it's been great. But as usual, somebody always tells me I'm going to be a little nervous or I'm not sure what I'm going to say. And then they do awesome. And Kat, you've done great. Pete, as always, I got nothing but respect for you. So it's been a blast having you guys on. And I'm really looking forward to doing this I think there's 8 episodes. It looks like, as a matter of fact, I got the schedule, but anyway, and we get 2 episodes drop here in about 6 days. So our next stream might go I try to keep them to 2 hours. It might go a little longer because we might want to talk about a lot of stuff, or we might just be like, okay, that was terrible. 5 minutes and we're out, but we'll see. So please join us next time on Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific. But with that, Pete, I've got one more question that I want to ask you guys. And this is another one of those questions I'm loath to do, but I also like to hear some of the answers to it. Do you, Pete, have a prediction or a couple of predictions that you're confident we're going to see or are going to happen in the upcoming Ahsoka show, sir?
Ooh, that's what a loaded question. Oh my God.
Now remember, we're going to remember this by the end, and if you're wrong,
yeah, because this stays on YouTube into perpetuity, so I can always go back and check.
Away,
Yeah.
Ever. I think I'm just going in with this. So, like I said, my bar's, kind of down here. So prediction wise, I'm like, okay, I'm along for the ride. Let's see where we go. I know that's just a weenie answer. A
little bit, Pete. Just saying.
Yeah, it is. Wishy-washy. It's non-committal. I get it.
Okay. Pete's like, we're going to see some lightsabers and some people are going to fire some blasters. That's what I'm going with.
We're going to see that guy in blue.
Ezra.
Right?
We're going to see Ezra.
I thought Pete was going to say Ewoks. Pete, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Chasing Andy's Toys? That's Chris
Miwa. Yep,
Chris Miwa. Okay, so yeah, Chris.
Yeah,
he's got your number, buddy. Yeah, he's got your number.
Oh yeah, he
buddy.
knows me. We chatted this morning.
Gilster, Freddie Prinze Jr. will make an appearance as Kanan, maybe in a flashback. That would be interesting to hear his voice or something. Because as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, Kat, is Kanan not dead? He is dead, right?
I mean, not through the Force, but yes, physically.
Okay, his physical body did not make it out of the rebels.
No,
Right.
He died. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's still, he's
he's
Force ghosting.
Again, nobody's dead in Star Wars, but he is dead.
Right. Oh, Matt, the ghost gets blown up a week after the HasLab campaign closes. Oh, man.
That's awesome, Matt.
Yeah.
For as much as I like the ghost, it'd be like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
How they can
Right? Yeah, that's twice is not. That's not even funny at that point, right? Yeah.
Now
That
I know.
accurate.
So I'm gonna say it. No, we know the ghost doesn't get blown up because in the final sequel trilogy, it shows up in the armada.
It could
Of
still
ships.
blow up.
Right,
They
and
just
be
fixed
repaired.
They just fixed it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Harrow
Half
can
of
fix
it
it.
is the original. Half of the ship is the original.
Harrow was always fixing it, so she's
Yeah.
Oh,
It's fine. Duct tape,
Rick-
my friends. Duct tape.
exactly.
Duct tape.
Yes. Go to the expert. She's got her studio duct tape and it's working better than mine, right? Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I
working
think
fine.
we
It
see
has not
Thrawn in
budged.
the premiere.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick. Oh my God.
Captain Obvious.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Duh. There was a Razor Crest in there too.
I don't know.
Pete,
That's a long shot. Braun and the premiere. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a long shot.
We'll see. Well, Kat, let's see if you're braver than Pete on this one. Pete, smart answer, by the way. You're a smart man. This is why you're ubiquitous on YouTube and everybody loves you because you're a smart man. I am not, and that's usually the problem. So I get used to see some of the comments I get. But anyway, Kat, over to you, ma'am. One prediction, several predictions, any predictions that you know 100% in your heart of hearts we're going to see.
I don't know why I can't get away from it, but I'm afraid. Yes, yeah, he's my second one. He's my second one. But
okay.
Is that so? The first part is I'm afraid they're gonna kill off Ahsoka by the end of this, and then Ezra will take over basically, and you know that help us all. Like worst nightmare. I don't want that, but I don't know why. I don't think she would die in this. Like, I don't want this to be her end, but I can't get away. Just something in me that's just like, don't be surprised if she just dies. So that I'm having a little trouble with just because I love her character so much.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just Ezra, go away. Like, I just can't get first season Ezra out of my head, and he just bothers me. Again, he was better in season 2, but man, he just. He's a character that I could win or lose. Like, Kanan can get a new apprentice. Where's someone right. Ezra? Like, get a Lothcat. Like, that would have been better than Ezra. But
there's a live action Lothcat in this too. I saw pictures of the
which is way cool.
But
I saw that.
If they're gonna be a Loth wolf, I want the wolf.
It has to be. There has to be.
I would die for it because wolves are my favorite. So the fact that if there was, I'd be over the moon with that. So
well, I'm gonna go ahead and predict.
Duran, hungry like the wolf.
Yeah.
Pete's my jam, baby. That's my jam. Duran. Oh my God, I was such a nerd back then. Anyway, I'm gonna don't get me started on Depeche Mode and Duran and what I used to look like when I was 15 and 16 years old. Anyway,
oh Jonathan, I hate you. I'm sorry.
Who's Jonathan? What now?
Jonathan Redmond.
Oh.
Blobby comment, and I hate that thing. I'm
Ahsoka
sorry.
gets killed by Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby's a Salacious Rum character.
Is that what all that pink weird stuff I've been seeing on YouTube?
Blobby.
I can't keep. Oh, okay. I can't
Terrifying.
keep up. Yeah, they're gonna kill off Ahsoka.
I thought we were friends. And you just.
He's digging. He's just.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, and if they kill off Ahsoka, oh my God. Anyway, yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm going to make a prediction then just to help, because here's what's going to happen. And then I'm going to make a prediction on hopes. What's going to happen is we're going to get a ton of Ezra. And that's going to make this trip for the next 8 weeks very fun for you and me, Pete. So my actual prediction is going to be that there's a loaf.
Joy with Sivy around then.
Yes, there will be. Yeah, joy. That's what my wife calls it, joy. There will be a Loth wolf in this. I'm going to predict that's going to be my prediction. There will be a live action Loth wolf, and then that will offset Kat getting in the stream and staring into a camera and going, I will kill all y'all if I have to look at Ezra one more time. So
and we need space whales.
Yeah, the space whales. Yeah.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Less Ezra time.
Right. Jonathan makes an excellent point. Good Lord, you would think Ahsoka was his daughter, so who knows?
Yeah.
We got to get rid of these people at some point, though. You know what I mean? I get it. We're like 20 years away from the sequels, but still, they can't be around forever. So we'll see.
It's again, like I know Ahsoka is his baby. Fillion's baby. Like, so I doubt it, but I don't know why. Like, depending, I don't know. I can't shake it, and I hope I'm wrong because I will bawl my eyes out if they kill her off. Like, I'll be truly upset if that happens. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I can't shake that stupid feeling.
JT.
Oh.
I'm a nervous break.
Yes, I will. Yes. That is facts.
Kat's going to be like fifth of whiskey and just like, all right, let's talk about this last episode.
All right, let's do this. Yeah.
So I'm going to go buy some vodka this weekend.
Okay.
And we just may be drinking during the next episode. So
but I did these afternoons, so I don't feel bad if we decide to do that. So
right.
I can take a nap after this.
Okay. Jesus, Rick. I'll do the opposite. Damn, the Canadians I thought were supposed to be nice people.
Yeah, he's hardcore up there.
Yeah, he is, man. It's that beard. I think it gets caught and stuff a lot and just angers him a lot. I'm just kidding, Rick. Love you, babe. So a little bit of housekeeping, and then I'm going to ask you guys for your final thoughts. As everybody who has paid attention to these in any fashion knows, our last episode of this series, which comes after the last episode of Ahsoka for the first season, I have these guys talk about their overall thoughts of the whole series for about a half hour. And then we bring on guests to come in like we've always done. Pete, you were one of those guests once. You remember that?
I was. Yep.
Yeah. And despite your performance, I invited you back in. No, I'm just kidding.
I tried to muck it up.
Exactly. I love you held the board game up. I still remember this, and you're like, let's just go play a game of this because this show is terrible. So I forgot what it was, but yeah, I was like, that's Pete. I love it. And I'll let each of these two, it gets to pick, I was going to pick two people that they want to come on as guests, and then I'll pick two as well. And that's how we're going to do the last. We'll do like a round robin of about 10 to 15 minutes each guest for the last episode. So please stick with us. Please participate in the comments. We want to make this an interactive experience as much as possible. So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we wrap this up, you guys, I never hit end broadcast until I'm sure that you got to say whatever you wanted to say, get out anything you needed to get out, or give us your final thoughts. So we'll go back to being chivalrous here, Pete. Ladies first. Kat, did you have anything else? Any final thoughts? Anything you wanted to say before I get us on up out of here?
No, I'm really excited for it. I honestly don't know what to expect. I hope again, I'm not hard to please, so I'm sure I'll love it while you guys don't, but I will gladly mourn Ezra when the time comes. So
sounded like a prediction, Pete. They're going to kill Ezra. Let's see. You heard it here first. Pete, over to you, sir. Did you get a chance to get out everything you wanted to talk about? Any last thoughts, final opinions?
I did. I just want to throw this out there, though. I love that we can all come together in not a kumbaya. You can have all the different viewpoints. Kat can be like, I'm easy to please, and I'm like, I'm grumpy old Star Wars guy, and I hate it. And yet, we're all still friends.
Yes.
And same goes for those in the chat. No matter how you feel about that, it's cool. We're still friends because this is just a TV show.
It's fantasy space wizards, for God's sakes. Nobody ever wore one of these helmets behind me on a real battlefield. You feel me, dog? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel, yeah. So
yet.
I tried to re-enlist in the American Army, but I was too old because I was going to run out into the battlefield with one of my stormtrooper helmets. I think they were on to me, Pete. So
you should have worn a clone trooper helmet.
No. Failed.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Couldn't see past his own feet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm excited. Even if the show is terrible, which I don't predict it will be, but even if it's terrible, I get to spend every Thursday with you guys for 2 hours.
Right?
Kat, I mean this sincerely. Like I said, you and I didn't know each other that well. You came recommended from Pete. So far, it's been a blast hanging with you, ma'am. So thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I was really nervous and excited at the same time because I know Pete. I don't know you as well, except for in chat and watching your shows and stuff, but I've had an absolute ball. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. And Pete, you know me. I'm gonna get a little weird here for a second, but there's a few people out there in the community who I they're not my idols, but that I kind of look up to, and that guy's really cool. I would love to meet, like you, Tim. I've never made any bones about this over at Bosk's Bounty. Super fan, super Scuba Pete fan. I'm flattered that you would come on and do this with me on a weekly basis, especially as busy you are. So thank you as well, sir.
Hey, I put my shorts on just like everybody else, one leg at a time, and I am happy to have a beer any old time or a bourbon.
There you go. Yep. I saw it was short notice, but there's like some G.I. Joe convention thing that you guys went to a couple of months ago.
The Joe Fest. Valicon.
Joe Fest. Yeah. So I might try to get out there because it seems like a lot of you are in that next year and get to
it's going to be shabby. Even more. Yeah. Shabby. Joe Fest should be paying Shabby some kind of like a commission on hotel and ticket sales because he's like just, beating the drum like an Energizer bunny. And, yeah, it's there's going to be a bunch of people that you know and love, and like I said, to be able to physically sit down, have a beer, shoot the shit, have a bunch of laughs look at some toys. Yeah, great stuff.
I might try to do that this year, so we'll see. But with that, it's been a blast, you guys. And I don't know if you've seen how we do on this show, and you obviously don't have to participate if you think I'm an idiot. But at the end of all my videos and at the end of all my live chats, we always give everybody the thumbs up and we tell them, we'll see you on the next episode. So if you guys would like to participate,
see you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next episode, guys.
Bye.
Bye.